Welcome everyone to the July System Administration Special Interest Group. There is an agenda in the chat, and I haven't looked at it, so I'm going to look at it. Maybe. Let's start out with any announcements anybody has. Well, I'll announce that KohaCon 22 is coming up soon in Lawrence, Kansas, September 20th through 23rd. Hope you can make it. You can register online now. We'd love to see you in person, but it is also going to be recorded. So make your plans for the upcoming KohaCon. Okay, so on our agenda, it looks like we've got under reports, querying circulation rules. I think that's maybe a Jason thing.
Yeah, so I've been auditing our circ-find rules and found that there weren't any good reports for that in the wiki. They were all referencing the issuing rules table, which is from an older version. It's under circulation rules now. And the structure of the table may be changed. Anyways, I put together a report, which I'm using to sort of go through and dedupe my rules with. So I thought I could share that. I will put the link. I put it in the wiki. So I'll put the link in the agenda moments ago. I put it in the wiki. And I can share my screen and show what it looks like. And I would love to know if other people have better ways of doing this, for sure.
Where did you put it in the wiki? Because
I'll put the link in the chat too.
It's all confusing now.
Yeah, there were some other circle reports in the circulation portion of the reports. So that's where I put it, even though it's more administrative.
Yeah.
This one. So when you do just a dump of the circ-find rules, this is what it looks like, which is super helpful because it lists out every rule in an individual row. And my goal was to kind of go through and figure out what rules are duplicate. So this doesn't help me all that much. So what I did was I broke down each of those categories into its own section. So basically what this rule does is it takes the circ-find rules table and puts it in a report as is. And then you can export that to Excel, do some concatenation, do some conditional formatting, and see what the duplicates are. So if I run this report, and it is branch limited, but I can run it for all branches as well. Then you can see it's basically the same information. I just kind of went through and translated what these were related to the column headers, because sometimes they didn't make sense. Like find grace period is called first remind. So this kind of mimics that table, and then I can download it. And like I said, you could probably concatenate everything into a string within the report, but I find it easier to do that in Excel. So that's my strategy. And then so we don't use a lot of these columns. So for practical purposes on my live server, I've just cut it down to what I care about. So it's a lot shorter and easier to manage and read through. So that's what I did with it, and I thought I'd share.
I'll share. I have 3 reports to get the entire thing.
Oh, I should mention I excluded in that report. You can see I excluded some stuff in the where statement. So that table also gives you the information on holds policies. It gives, like, there's a circ-find rule table at the top, and there's stuff below it on the page, and all of that stuff's in the table. So I excluded that so I could just get the table at the top. But you can pull additional information from that page too. Sorry, George, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I'm trying to find my circulation rules reports. Because I know I have three of them. I have one that breaks it down into like a block of circulation, fees, and request rules. So just circulation and renewals, and then another report that does late fees and suspensions, and another report that does requests and other parts. So that it kind of breaks it down. And I have the issue where our libraries are, they all have separate circulation rules. Rules are separate for, every library has their own rules, and they vary wildly. But I don't give anybody the ability to edit or modify circulation rules not because I don't trust them. Well, some of them I don't trust, but not because I don't trust them so much as I know it'd be really easy for somebody to go in there and accidentally make a mistake. And I know that will happen because it's happened in the past. So it's really easy, particularly if you haven't hidden that clone these rules to another library. If you haven't hidden that, that can kill a whole set of circulation rules in 2 seconds, somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. So, but I have it broken down like this so that the libraries can run a report that says what are my loan periods, what are my renewal rules, all of that stuff, and they can see them, and then they can contact me and say we want to change this. And so I too try to make it so that it's really similar to what it looks like on the actual page. So I'll try and share those to the wiki too.
Cool. I did think of another announcement I meant to make that is our fearless leader, Lizette Shear, is no longer at her library. She has moved on to another position, a non-Koha library. So we are looking for a new system administration SIG chair. So, and I see George just blanked himself out there. So if you would like to do that, if you know someone that would, it's not that you need to be an expert in this stuff. It's just basically, chairing the meeting and moving things along. If you're interested in that, you can email, I guess, just the general koha-US.org email, or you can email me, president@koha-US.org, if you'd like to volunteer for that.
Can I volunteer Fred for it?
Fred was thinking about it, but I don't think I'm the person for the position because I've understood about, a quarter of what you've been talking about. I think someone needs to know at least half.
Okay, so there's on the agenda, there's a couple of bugs listed. The first one is renewal messaging 24550.
Yeah, I could have titled that better, but it's not really messaging. So this is a problem that I get complaints for. Is this the one? 24550. Book renewals trigger item loan policies to revert to. Oh no, this was a recent complaint that I received. So in the past, we think at least that sorry, this is sort of consortially stuff. I guess I didn't realize. But so in the past, we thought that if a patron checked out at one library and renewed at another library, it was still going to follow the rules of the library where they checked out. But it's not doing that now. So and there's 3 different system preferences that come into play, and it seems like, or there's 2 listed here. It seems like one of them conflicts with this. So I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. I haven't put my comments on the bug yet, but basically it would be nice to have a way to say that I want renewals to follow the rules of the transacting library, because right now they're following the rules of the logged in staff members library, which isn't what we expect or really want in our sharing situation.
Is that a change in behavior, or has it always been that way?
Well, I know it's always followed the logged in staff members rules for renewal limits, but it feels like in the past, or at least we thought in the past, it was actually following the initial transacting locations rules on the renewal. But I don't know for sure, and I don't know how long it's been this way.
I know there's system preferences involved. And I know the library where Lizette is commenting about in this bug about how it's working at their library, and their library does it differently than the way we do. So I'm wondering, nobody has complained to me about this problem, and I'm set up, I think, the same way you are, Jason, where the rules follow the library where the item was initially checked out. No matter where it's renewed, it's supposed to follow those rules. And I haven't had anybody complain that it's not doing that.
Well, and I tested it, and it does seem to be following the logged in staff members rules. So currently we're set up with cert control is at the library you're logged in at, but home or holding branch is the items holding library. So it could be that my settings aren't correct. But those are big settings to change. So I guess I can do some testing in my test server and figure it out. But it does seem like there's a behavior there that's not working. Like initial checkouts work okay, but renewals aren't behaving the same way. And I think that's kind of what the bug is getting at.
I guess I need to do some experiments to see if I have the same problem. Nobody's told me about it, and we've been on this version of Koha for well over 6 months. So if it's a problem, I'm surprised I haven't heard about it.
Are y'all on the same versions, or?
Yeah.
Should be.
You haven't upgraded yet, have you?
No, we upgraded in August.
Same here. All right. Well, I'm glad somebody pointed this out because I haven't had it yet, so haven't heard about it yet. So
I think I flip-flopped these. I think that was the renewal behavior one that I was talking about. And then the other bug that I put down is one that we have talked about in the past, but it doesn't have much movement, which is when you're renewing from the patron's account and there's a hold on the item, it flashes up a message really fast that says item on hold and the renew fails. But then the message goes away. So if staff member aren't paying attention, then they don't realize that the renewal fails. So this is a behavior change, because before it would just block the renewal because the item was on hold. But for some reason, the order of operations has changed. So I just wanted to bring this one back to everybody's attention too.
Alrighty, any other bugs or issues or reports or stuff that people want to talk about, chime in on?
So I've got something, and let me just preface by saying we're doing laptop lending right now, or we're looking into it, and we have an anytime vending machine, and currently it's going to link to Koha and require an account to check out the items. Is there a tool or anything that you guys know of that we might be able to create like quick temporary accounts in Koha so that people without a card can check out a laptop?
I know there's like a fast add template for patrons, right? We have that hidden. There's like a button on the patrons page that you can fast add like a brief patron record. That might be what you need.
So the way that we currently do account or computer logins is we create temporary accounts through SAM and they print out just these little slips with numbers on it. And I was wondering if Koha could do anything like that.
Or like automate it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anybody else?
I can't think of anything like that.
Okay. My opinion is that it'd be utter madness to even try, but I thought I'd just throw the question out there just to see if anybody had any answers. Okay, well, thanks.
Maybe something will come to one of us later.
Well, you don't have to share it with me. I like the answer that I got right now, so.
You got the answer you're looking for, huh?
Oh yeah, that's the one I wanted.
Very good. That's a case closed then. All right. Anything else, other stuff people are working on or issues you're having or?
Oh, one thing I did just realize it happened the other day, and we're on, we haven't upgraded yet, but it looks like we're on Discovery or Aspen and we're on Koha, and Koha doesn't look at the material requests limits on Discovery. So people can put as many requests in as they want. And that's just an issue we just recently came across. I'm not sure if anybody else has seen that or if anybody else uses Aspen or Discovery. So.
We don't.
That's
use
all
it,
you.
So I couldn't say.
I'd like to mention something. I've been having an issue with deleting a record and an item. It gets put in through like an interlibrary loan system. The record gets generated, but for some reason, the record won't delete now. It keeps giving us like a error 500. So I was just wondering if you've ever had trouble deleting records and items. I don't know.
I actually have run into that a couple of times, and it's usually because there was something weird in the MARC record that was it was like not a valid MARC record, and it couldn't be deleted because of some field in the MARC. And I don't remember. It's happened. It's been such a long time since I had it happen. I don't remember exactly what the problem was, but that was the issue. Is there was something in the MARC record.
Yeah, I'll definitely investigate in that area then. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, what library are you with, Evan?
I'm at Marywood University in Pennsylvania. I'm still kind of new and getting my feet wet and trying to build up some confidence here to talk. When everyone here, most people who are speaking seem to have a lot more experience with Koha. It's only my 3rd month, but slowly getting more confidence. And but this error has been a problem, so it finally got me to say something.
A great way to learn and become more comfortable with Koha is to come to a koha-US conference.
In person.
Yeah, that would be fun, but it's pretty far away from me.
And we need more people from the East Coast.
Oh boy, I'm getting recruited quick here. I should mute up now.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you supported or unsupported?
We're supported with Bywater,
Okay.
but trying to learn as much as I can. And
So
Like-
Juliet put something in the chat about
Mhm.
checking the 942 for the item type, and we always have troubles with that. I think another thing that we had trouble with was people would put holds on items and then delete their accounts, and that would cause all kinds of trouble too.
okay. That's a lot of information to research.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What else have people got to talk about?
I was going to mention, a couple of days ago, I guess it was on the 8th, Cab Vinton mentioned that there was the redesign of the staff interface was available in the sandbox on one of the Bill Libre's sandboxes. And within 4 hours, it had stopped working correctly. But I was wondering if anybody else had a chance to look at it before it stopped working.
I got in for about 20 minutes, maybe. And I saw the centering issue that was brought up on the bug. And I think I got an error message when I searched patrons, and then it just kind of hung up. So I was able to see a few pages, the layout of a few pages. I was particularly wanting to get a better handle on the search, how they have it where it's not verbal, but it's icon-based searching, and the persistent search bar, I guess, that would be at the top of the page, but I didn't really get a chance to fool around with it much.
I was really poking at it hard, and I made a couple of comments on the bug, and I just put the bug in the chat box there if anybody wants to go look at it. But I think some of these attachments on the bug are like pictures of what the redesign is supposed to look like when it's done.
And I just tried logging into the sandbox, and you can get in, but it's the old version. So
Yeah, it's still not the new interface.
yeah, I'd really like to be able to poke around and, compare it to current functionality and all that. So I'll be really interested when they get something that's, stable that we can play around with.
Some will last more than 4 hours.
Yeah, maybe I was in there and you were in there and we broke it. I
Could
don't
be.
know.
So does it, I think I took a look at it. It's mostly a lot of white space and green icons and text. It looked kind of cool, but I figure you go snowblind if you looked at it too long. So
Yeah, I'm just worried. I mean, I looked at it a little bit. I know that it's gonna throw my librarians for a loop for sure,
Mhm.
and try and get ahead of that as much as possible. But it's definitely, I mean, it's not that different, but they're gonna think that it's really different.
My experience with staff is if you change anything, if you move something that used to be here over to here, they will scream and yell and rip their garments and shout at God, why? And then you go back like a week later and ask them a question like they don't even remember what it was like before. So I think a lot of cosmetic changes are that way. They don't like the change, and then after they use it for a week or two, they kind of forget about the change. And that's what I see here is mostly cosmetic changes.
so that item search new little function that's coming in on 2111, is that going to cause a lot of trouble?
The item search is available right now.
Is it?
Yeah. If you go up to search, there's a little drop down arrow next to search on the top menu, and it's got advanced search and item search.
Yeah,
Unless
but
you've
it's going to be
disabled
in
it.
it's going to be in the circulation page in 2111.
It's going to be in the circulation page.
Yeah, they added it.
I haven't looked at that yet, so you know, if it's a problem for anybody, I can make it disappear. Anything that's a problem for anybody, I can make it disappear.
I'll say that I both love and hate the item search. It's got its uses, but the usability isn't the most fun because it's got little boxes and then you have to scroll down in the little box to find your categories. But it is helpful for people that aren't as comfortable with reports and stuff because they can basically pull a report with it. And look, George fixed the issue I was just talking about.
Yeah, here's what I did to the little boxes. They're huge boxes. So one of the issues I was having was that it seems like some of these, they weren't alphabetized properly at some point. And so I had to use some code too to alphabetize them. But yeah, I wrote something. I don't remember. I'm sure it's, I don't remember if it's CSS or jQuery that I wrote to change the boxes. But I hated that too, where you can only see 3 lines in the box at once. That's who over 40 is going to be able to do that without going, what the hell's going on?
That was a big complaint from my boss because she got that email and she was looking at the new interface too. And like the icons in the search bar are really tiny and they're not that intuitive. I think that would be a good thing to address
complain
as
about.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing about the item search is sometimes it just like hangs up and I'm always afraid that I am on the path to crashing my server because it'll just get stuck processing a request. So yes, Daniel, I am a little worried about it being more exposed, but I guess we'll deal with that when something bad happens. We'll react and not proact.
That's why I don't let anybody else use the logs, because that's my fear, is that they're going to run some type of search in the logs and it's just going to go. So
It used to be like that with the logs, but now they time out after a while. It used to be like that with reports too. I remember somebody, that's why I took away people's ability to write their own reports, is because somebody would invariably do a report that said, give me all the bibliographic records in one column, all the bib IDs and all the item IDs in this column. And then you end up with like a bazillion. And they would always do it like at 3:55 on a Friday afternoon. Somebody would write a report that would crash the whole system, and I'd be until like 9 o'clock on a Friday. But that's gotten a lot better too, where it's where you don't have those kinds of issues with it timing out so much because of things exactly like that. As much as I didn't like spending 3 hours between 4 and 7 on a Friday afternoon trying to fix it, Larry at Bywater, who used to be their systems guy, he didn't like doing that on Friday afternoons either. And so he came up with a bunch of ways to make it so that things would time out before they would crash the system.
If
So do you
you're
get
running,
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
You first read.
okay, if you're running a report in one Firefox tab and you realize it's going to go on forever, and you close the tab, does that stop the report being generated, or is it?
No,
Okay.
it just means that it's when the report's finished, it doesn't have any place to put the results.
You'll crash the system anyway, but you won't get any. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those safeguards are built into Koha and how many were put there on our servers, that Bywater put there on our servers to keep those things from happening to them.
We tried to run a report. I think it was suggested by somebody. It was a very lengthy report And it did time out within, I don't know, a couple minutes, because I think it was going to crash the system. So they may have put something in there for all koha accounts.
Totally possible. I'm looking to see if I can find that code for the item search boxes for you, Jason.
Speaking of timeouts, does anybody else use the inventory module at all?
Our staff is using it, but I'm not really familiar with it.
So I
I've
have
used it on occasion.
like I have an issue where, and it may be due to our size, because I think it's trying to compare the files I'm uploading to the catalog at large, but like I can't upload more than maybe 1,000 barcodes at a time, otherwise it times out and hits a proxy error, which is really frustrating because then it kind of invalidates the whole, like if I have to split a section into 3 parts, then it's going to tell me a whole bunch of stuff is missing. So I just wondered if anybody else had run into that.
When we did our inventory like a couple of years ago, we tried using that tool and it would do exactly what you said. I could only run like 1,000. So I didn't do that so much. I used like the batch item modify and put a note, a non-public note in there, inventoried, and then read a report where it would grab items that didn't have that. And that's what I'd set to missing. And that's how we kind of did it. And I don't, if someone has a better way of doing it, then by all means, but that's kind of how we had to do ours.
Yeah, it's still, I still am a proponent for the inventory module because it does do things well when it can work, right? So it does like basically check everything, and it does give me a list of things that were on the shelf that we scanned that aren't in the catalog. And I can run a report later on since it checks everything in based on the date. It's just more tedious, I think, than it should be, and I think it could work better.
I think I did manage to scan one collection in 3 different batches, but I don't remember how it worked. I do remember being surprised when I found out that 40% of one collection was missing.
I don't remember if it was this meeting or what meeting it was, but at one point we were discussing, it was when Lizette was still here, we were discussing an interactive inventory tool, and there is a bug for that. And I don't remember much about the discussion, but as I look through it now, I see somebody's talking about a scan as you go shelf reading and inventory plugin. Might be something interesting to see what that is.
I'm looking at the GitHub and information on this, and I think I might try and plug it in and see how it works. It looks interesting.
Yeah, it does sound like it would be value added, because another thing that we can't really do it with the call inventory tool is out of order. There's like a checkbox for out of order reporting, but again, if I can't upload more than 1,000, there's no way it's gonna give me accurate results. So this sounds like that might be something they addressed.
I did find the Embiggen item search fields and posted that in the chat box there. The jQuery for that.
Awesome, thanks.
I'm thinking I can't find anything about alphabetizing them, so I think that might have been something that got fixed. Because I think there was some point where the collection codes and the item types weren't necessarily alphabetized properly. They were, I think they were alphabetical by the code, not the description.
Mhm.
Something like that. For some reason or another, they weren't alphabetical. I did. I know this isn't so much of a system which group is this? System administrators? Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Just
Lucas finally wrote a patch to alphabetize the list of SMS providers, and I signed off on it yesterday at work. So for those of you that don't know, if you're using the email to SMS feature, the list of SMS providers was in the order that you entered them in. So if you ordered a whole bunch, if you put a whole bunch in and then you added like AT&T would be at the bottom of the list. And this just alphabetizes the list whenever it loads. So.
nice. I always like it when little things like that are made, you know, to work just automatically the way we think they should work, and don't have to take extra steps to create code to make it simple.
So can I plug a bug that actually is related to SMS?
Sure.
So in 2111, they have the main contact method and it's a drop-down menu. Unfortunately, SMS is not selectable right now. So
yeah.
I just plugged that bug that was 18.21.7, and it's asking to combine that information with the rest of the contact information. And I think it's going to be really useful, or for getting this bug fixed is going to be really useful in the future because of this new feature. So please comment on it so we can get some work done on it. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a good one, because we're not going to really use the main contact method because of the way we do things, but I set it up, you know, and I looked at it and I'm like, well, SMS isn't an option. I really wondered why.
For us, it just means I need to get rid of that. We've been using for years. We've had an patron extended attribute that says hold contact method, and it's based on an authorized value, so you can put whatever you want in there. But this new drop down is just going to have to be removed because it serves no purpose without having the SMS stuff in there. So
Most of our users use phone, but we do have some that are starting to migrate to email and SMS. So having that option would be really helpful for us.
Any other bugs or things you wish Koha did or didn't do, or just what's going on at your library? See how I run a meeting? I don't know anything. It's just open forum.
Oh, I guess I can follow up. Last week, I think at CERC, I was talking about my Google Analytics breaking. I did figure out how to use the new GA4 property. It was really simple. There, I think I found a tutorial online, but basically they give you a little snippet of code and you just put that in a footer element in your OPAC, and that enables Google Analytics. Before it was a little snippet of code that you put in your jQuery syspref. So I've got them both running side by side right now, and it looks like they're working.
So can you go into more on that? So we use Google Analytics, and I think it's working because I'm getting statistics from it, but
Yeah, so mine was broken. I can share my screen and show you the difference.
and broken because
Broken because of the jQuery. Something had
Okay.
changed. So I've got two analytic properties here. This is the old one. If it's got a UA, that's the old. They're doing away with that. So they're
Okay.
migrating things to this GA4 thing. And I couldn't get that to work with the old jQuery. So instead I put it in a news element here. Let me show you. So there's this one. So I put it in an OPAC credits, which puts it at the bottom of the page. It doesn't, you can't see anything. The code is just a script that's down there. So, and this is pulled out of the setup information here somewhere. It's been less than a week and I don't remember how to manage this. It's here. So like your old one has a little GA4 setup assistant, and when you transition it over through that, then it gives you that snippet of code, and sticking that just at the bottom of every page on your OPAC will generate your tags, which feed the data. Clear as mud.
yeah, Google Analytics has always been something where I don't know, I'm not sure I really got it set up the way it's really supposed to work, you know, that I completely understand it. So
Yeah, I do find it useful. And I was never sure if mine was set up right either, but it does like feed information. I can see the real-time stats, and I can see like it's especially useful to see how people are interacting with your OPAC. So like it tells you what they're using it most for. So like you can see that they're placing holds, or and you can also see their devices. So you can see, I think for us, we've got more people accessing it on their phones than on a web browser, which then can inform us that we need to pay more attention to that side of the design. So I do find it useful. And I had to sort of sell it in the beginning because people were scared that it was gonna like, it was big brothery and we were collecting private information, but it's all non-identifiable as far as I can tell. I mean, we're not storing anything that would get us in trouble as far as I know. I see Sally has her hand raised.
I do. I'm starting my camera. Here we go. Hello. I just wanted to say hello and introduce myself. I'm with the Knox County Public Library, and we are just starting our migration after 30 years on Symphony. We're working with Bywater. So I've been kind of lurking around and watching videos all you folks have done, and I really appreciate all the work you folks put into this to make it easier and a mature product that we can all try to use. So hello.
hello and welcome.
Thank you.
Which state is Knox County in?
Tennessee.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So you're not too far to come to koha-US in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah, we're kind of on the far side of the state.
Okay.
Close to the Smoky Mountains. I can see them from my house. That's where we are.
Well, Lawrence, Kansas, it's in the middle, so it can't be very far from anywhere.
It's
We had-
closer than when we had the Portland conference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really not happening. We had trouble getting permission to go to Nashville for a few years, so, and that's all 3 hours away.
Yeah, but this is an international conference this year.
Right.
This is the
Yeah.
international conference.
Yeah, the last Cersei Dynex conferences I was able to go to are the ones in Nashville, and then they moved them out of state, and that was it for me. But
Yeah.
anyway, we're leaving Cersei Dynex. We've been on Symphony long before it was Symphony. It's been 30 years. So this is a pretty substantial move for us. We're already using Aspen. We migrated to Aspen March. So we're kind of doing it backwards. Aspen first, but it's working and it's great. People are really happy with it. So I think having successfully moved to Aspen has put people working with Bioware has kind of put people at ease a little more because they know things went fine there and people like the new product. So this move to Koha, which is going to be a shock to some folks' systems, but we're ready for it. It's time for something new.
So I
30 years
migrated
ago,
my
it
very
wasn't even-
small library from Horizon. Sorry, George.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. 30 years ago, it wasn't even Cersei Dynex. It was either
It was
Cersei or
Cersei
Dynex.
and it was Unicorn.
Okay.
We were Cersei and we had Unicorn. And I think my predecessor, it was 1991. And my predecessor launched it on, I think, Unicorn 5. And I'm told that we were the first multi-library system to use Unicorn. We have 19 buildings. So anyway, that's us. Hello, nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
Great you're here.
Thank
Well,
you.
if you come to the conference and I can make it, you'll get to meet the Avenging Chicken in person.
I might, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to make it to the conference. Budget's already set and I'm not in there for travel. But I can
Wow.
join remotely. So I'll lurk in the background, watch.
Yeah, I'll just tell you that Aspen is really great. Their development schedule is really fast, and
Yeah, I know.
Mark is really good. He's really responsive. So
Yeah,
we
we've been
really
happy
like
with
it.
it. Yeah, there's only one thing right now and it has to do with Lita and how that honors some of the choices we've made. But other than that, we're not doing the account linking, and Lita does whether we want to do it or not. So it's a little problem, but that's okay. I know they're responsive enough that it probably won't be a problem for too much longer.
We don't do Lita, but we do link accounting and account linking.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to get them to use Lita, but we haven't gotten there yet. So
Right, we have it. I mean, it's available, but we are not advertising it to the customers yet. So we're waiting a little bit on that. Not that some of them haven't found it already. We know some folks are already using it. The more curious ones who know how to look around for these things. Does anyone have any tips for new admins, places I should be looking and try to figure out how all of this stuff works?
You
Which is what
know,
I've been doing probably.
when I started doing this, which has been about, it's been 10 years now with Koha. Wow, that's a long time. People would say to me, "Oh, you're so good at this. You're so smart. You know what you're doing." And I just kept saying, "It's like I don't know what I'm doing. Whenever I come to a brick wall, whenever I don't know what I'm doing, and I come to that brick wall, I just bang my head on it until I knock it over." It's just, keep working at it and don't give up. That's what I
plan to have a test server internally, so that
Yeah.
I can play around and break things and not worry about it.
I was
Yeah,
just
that's,
about to
uh,
recommend something like that.
Yeah.
I learned Koha by installing it on a computer, breaking it, installing it,
Mhm.
breaking it.
That's the
And
plan.
it's a lot easier now because I have an image on a cloud server, so I don't have to go through the installation
There you
process
go.
from DVD anymore.
Yeah. There you
wow.
go. That's not
So-
a bad idea.
George actually recommended something to us when we first went over, and we were Symphony to Koha,
Mhm.
and that's meet with your Koha rep once a month. Set
Yeah.
that up to especially go over tickets.
Mhm.
Sometimes they get a little backed up on them, and
Mhm.
then you don't get responses. I've gone from monthly to bi-monthly now, and it's just good to check in. If you get
Yeah.
Margaret, she's really awesome. So
Well, wait, for the migration, we're working with Donna.
Okay.
So far, she's been great to work with. We'll see what happens post-migration and where we end up with, but yeah. So
Yeah, the third Wednesday of every month, I have a phone call or I have a Zoom call with Margaret from Bywater, and I think many of the other people do.
yeah.
Just to
And
check in and say hi, and this is what we're doing, and
Mhm.
is there anything we need to know, and just to have a regular contact with them is
Yeah.
good.
And of course,
I think-
attend all of these meetings. There's
All right, I'm trying.
Yeah, attend
There's a
every
general
single one of
meeting
these
tomorrow.
meetings and donate money. And
Yeah, right.
Just out of curiosity, are you
Mhm.
going with Twilio or are you doing Itiva or any type of phone
We're-
notification?
We're trying to work out a contract with Patron Point and use their services, including for the SMS messaging. We couldn't afford the address validation add-on. That would have been great, but we're going to use them for our messaging. And we have a whole communications department who's excited about setting up a whole messaging marketing campaign using those tools. We don't do phone notifications, so.
Yeah, I would like to move everybody over to email or SMS, but we have a lot of old and
Yeah,
very blue collar users. So
we
we're stuck
definitely
on
still
phone for a
do
while.
some, we definitely still do print notices. But email is the bulk of them now.
Well, we're coming up on the hour. Anything else?
it's not the video this Thursday, but I think it's a week from Thursday will be about how to disable system preferences without disabling system preferences for Internet user JS and CSS. So be sure to look for that video on Thursday. That's kind of a system administrator-y thing.
George and Christopher's every other Thursday videos. Terrific every other Thursday videos are fabulous. They always have interesting ways to handle things. They're just really great to watch.
And I will put those circulation rules reports that I have on the wiki as soon as this meeting's over.
Well, all right. I think we've exhausted our time. Remember to register for KohaCon 22. You can go to the koha-US website and find the conference and the registration form and the schedule and all of that. Register if whether you're coming in person or not, be sure to register. And also you can join koha-US and be a member for only, I think we're at the half-year mark now, so you get half price membership. It's only $12.50 for now through the end of the year. So that's another thing you can do to support koha-US.
And if you become a member, then you get a vote on who becomes officers and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Changes to the bylaws, really exciting things.
It's very exciting, yes. And we have our koha-US general meeting tomorrow at 10:30 Central Time. And you can find the Zoom link for that on the koha-US website. So there's all kinds of things you can do. And koha-US is here to help. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording unless anybody has any anything to say.